Confucius once said that meeting Laozi felt like seeing a dragon, something free, unpredictable, and beyond understanding. And that dragon left us one short line that captured exactly that feeling of freedom. Human beings emulate the earth emulates heaven, heaven emulates the Dao, and the Dao emulates what is nature. In Chinese, it is called 人法地，地法天，天法道，道法自然。It's only 13 Chinese characters, but within them hides one of the deepest ideas in all of Chinese philosophy. So here's the question. If the Dao is already the ultimate source of everything, why does it still follow something? What is 自然 or being nature really mean? Before we dive into the meaning, let's talk about this little word, 法. In English, it's often translated as follow or emulate, but it also means to be bound by. So, when Laozi says man follows the earth, he doesn't just mean imitate. He means everything in the universe is shaped by what came before it. It's both active and passive, learning and being shaped at the same time. So let's talk about the sentences. First, human beings emulate the earth. So how do we follow the earth? Think about it. The earth is solid, nurturing, and inclusive. Stability, nourishment, and respectivity are what humans should learn from it. Without stability, no city could stand. Without nourishment, no life could grow. And like the earth, we also need to hold space for everything. Mountains and oceans, people and lions, all standing on the same earth. Second sentence, the earth emulates heaven. How does the earth follow heaven? Heaven has rhythm. The sun rises, the moon sets. Spring comes, winter goes. That's the cycle, the constant order, what the Chinese ancients called 常, the ever-repeating. But heaven also changes in an instant. Lightning flashes, thunder roars, storms come and go. That's impermanence. In Chinese, we call it 无常, the unpredictable side of the sky. So, when the earth follows heaven, it learns from both. The rhythm that gives life its order and the change that keeps it alive. And we humans, we need the same balance to live with steady rhythm, but also to let life surprise us. The third sentence, heaven emulates the Dao. So what does it mean for heaven to follow the Dao? Heaven already represents vastness, the stars, the planets, the endless rhythm of the cosmos. But even that rhythm has something deeper beyond it, the Dao, the invisible order that gives birth to all other orders. We can think of it in two ways. On one level, it's rational, the laws of physics. That might be the equations that describe how the universe moves. But on the other level, it's spiritual, the quiet mystery that people try to touch through meditation, prayer, or art. But maybe there's more. Maybe there are third or fourth ways of reaching the Dao, pathways that our human senses simply cannot perceive. Who knows? That's why Laozi said, the Dao that can be spoken is not the internal Dao, because once we define it, we limit it. The Dao isn't something to explain, it's something to feel, to live with, to move in harmony with. Even heaven, with all its light and power, still follows that invisible current, and the current we call the Dao. The last sentence. The Dao emulates what is nature, 自然. This last line seems strange. If the Dao is already ultimate, how can it follow anything? Here, 自然 doesn't mean nature like forest or rivers. In ancient Chinese, we separate the words into two. 自 means self, and 然 means to be so. So, 自然 means being as it is. Spontaneous, unforced, self-arising. The Dao just is. It doesn't imitate, it doesn't resist, it simply expresses its own nature, internal and effortless. And that is Laozi's whole point. He didn't want us to worship the Dao, he wanted us to live like it, to be as open, as effortless, as free as the Dao itself. When we live in that way, our thoughts, discourses, and actions move in harmony with the world. We stop forcing, stop overthinking, and simply let life flow through us. That's what true freedom feels like. No control, no resistance, but being so natural that everything we do is already in tune with the Dao. In Confucius' eyes, Laozi had already become one with the Dao. That's why he compared him to a dragon, rising freely through the clouds beyond human understanding. But here's the thing, Laozi never told us how to reach that state. He left the vision, but not the map. But Confucius gave us a rough direction, a pathway that ordinary people could actually walk. So what is the pathway? He described it as the journey of a lifetime, a map of inner growth. At 15, he set his heart on learning, not just learning knowledge, but learning how to live and how to treat the others. At 30, he stood firm. He had built his own understanding of the world, a personality, and a perspective that were truly his own. At 40, he had no more doubts. He saw life clearly, no longer shaken by what people said or what the world demanded. At 50, he understood the destiny, the limits of his life, and the responsibilities that came with it. At 60, his heart became open. He could listen to different voices and follow the rhythm of life itself. And at 70, he could follow his heart's desire without even crossing the line. His will and the Dao had become one. Of course, we don't have to measure ourselves by the exact age, but we can use them as a kind of mirror to ask ourselves whether at our stage of life we are growing in the same direction. I'm Little Bamboo Ya-Yue. I want to share these ideas with you in my own voice. If you'd like to hear more about Chinese philosophy, subscribe and stay connected. See you next time.